there is a hidden truth that no one talks about, a truth so dangerous that it could shatter everything you believe about the people around you. You have been told that trust is a virtue, that opening your heart is the way to enlightenment, that spiritual connections are sacred and unbreakable. But what if I told you that trust-blind, unquestioning trust is one of the greatest spiritual traps ever designed? What if I told you that the very people you trust the most could be the ones standing in the way of your awakening? Imagine this: a young seeker, filled with devotion, follows a spiritual teacher into the depths of the mountains. He believes this teacher holds the key to enlightenment, that this path will unlock the ultimate truth. But as the years pass, something strange happens. The teacher does not illuminate his path, he darkens it. The seeker begins to feel drained, manipulated, deceived. And one day he realizes something terrifying. He has not been guided toward the light. He has been led into a prison of illusion. The betrayal is so deep, so complete, that it shakes the very foundation of his soul. But here's the thing: this is not just a story about a spiritual teacher. This is a story about life itself. Because betrayal is not always dramatic, it is not always obvious, and it does not always come from the people you expect. Sometimes, the greatest betrayals come from those who smile at you, who embrace you, who whisper words of love and wisdom while slowly poisoning your spirit. And the worst part, most people never see it until it's too late.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Right now you might be thinking, but I trust the people around me. I trust my friends, my family, my mentors, my community. And that is exactly why this message is for you. Because the most dangerous betrayals are not the ones that come from enemies. They are the ones that come from those we trust the most. They are the ones we never question. And that is why they are the most powerful. But let's go even deeper. Have you ever felt like someone in your life was draining you, but you couldn't explain why? Have you ever felt like you were giving and giving, but something was being taken from you, something more than just energy, something deeper, something spiritual? This is not your imagination. This is not paranoia. This is a sign that you are in the presence of a spiritual betrayer. And here is the truth that no one tells you. Not everyone is who they pretend to be. Some people come into your life not to uplift you, but to feed off of you. Some people sense your light, your power, your potential, and they attach themselves to you, not to nurture it, but to consume it. These are not just toxic people. These are spiritual parasites. And the most dangerous thing about them, they don't look like threats. They look like friends, lovers, teachers, guides. They wear masks so convincing that you believe they are there to help you, even as they slowly drain you of everything you are. Now, let me ask you something even deeper. Have you ever noticed that every time you try to elevate yourself, every time you try to break free, every time you try to step into your true power, something or someone pulls you back? Not with force, not with direct opposition, but with subtlety, with doubt, with guilt, with carefully placed words that make you hesitate just enough to stop your growth. This is not an accident. This is spiritual sabotage, and it is happening all around you. But here's the real question: why do we allow it? Why do we keep trusting people even when the signs of betrayal are right in front of us? The answer is simple: because we are conditioned to believe that trust equals goodness. We are told that questioning is negativity, that suspicion is cynicism, that protecting ourselves is selfish. But what if I told you that questioning is not negativity, it is awareness? That suspicion is not cynicism, it is wisdom. That protecting yourself is not selfish, it is spiritual survival. Because here is the truth that will change everything: trust is not a virtue. Trust is a weapon. And if you do not learn how to wield it wisely, it will be used against you. Think about the most enlightened beings in history. Think about the sages, the masters, the ones who saw beyond the illusions of this world. Were they naive? Were they blindly trusting? Or were they discerning? Were they aware? Did they see through the masks that others couldn't? Because true wisdom is not about trusting blindly. True wisdom is about seeing clearly. And once you see clearly, once you recognize the patterns of spiritual betrayal, you can never be deceived again. So let's break the illusion right now. Let's expose the truth that has been hidden from you. Not everyone deserves your trust. Not everyone is who they pretend to be. And if you do not learn how to protect your spirit, you will be used, manipulated, drained. And the worst part, you will not even realize it is happening. But here is the key: you do not have to become cynical. You do not have to live in fear. You simply have to see. Because once you see, you can choose. You can choose who to trust. You can choose who to let into your energy. You can choose who to give your time, your love, your devotion. And once you take back that power, no one can ever betray you again. Because betrayal only works when it is unseen. Once it is exposed, once it is recognized, once it is brought into the light, it loses all of its power. And that is exactly what we are doing right now. We are exposing the truth. We are bringing the unseen into the light. And once you see it, you will never be the same again. But we are only just beginning, because the deeper truth is even more shocking. There is a reason why betrayal happens. There is a reason why spiritual parasites attach themselves to certain people. And once you understand that reason, you will unlock a level of power that most people will never reach. Are you ready to go even deeper? Because what comes next will change everything. Now that we've exposed the truth about spiritual betrayal, we have to ask the deeper question: why does it happen? Why do certain people attract betrayers into their lives? Why do some people seem to experience repeated cycles of deception, manipulation, and loss? If you have ever felt like you are constantly being betrayed, constantly being drained, constantly finding yourself in the presence of people who pretend to care but secretly take from you, then you need to hear this. Because betrayal is not random. It is not an accident. It follows a pattern, a design, a spiritual law that most people never recognize. And if you do not understand this law, you will remain trapped in the cycle forever. The first truth you must understand is this: spiritual parasites do not attach themselves to just anyone. They do not seek out the weak, the broken, the lost. No, they seek out the ones with light. They seek out the ones with power, with potential, with something rare inside them that others do not have. And this is where the paradox begins. If you have been betrayed deeply, if you have been drained, deceived, or used, it is not because you are weak. It is because you are strong. And the stronger your spirit, the more you will attract those who wish to feed off of it. Think about it. The people who betray the most, the people who manipulate and deceive, are not interested in those who have nothing to offer. They are interested in those who shine the brightest. They are drawn to energy, to wisdom, to kindness, to purity. They come to take what they cannot create themselves. And this is why betrayal hurts so much. Because it is not just a loss of trust, it is a theft of something sacred. It is the attempt to take something from you that was never theirs to begin with. But why do they do it? Why do some people betray over and over again? The answer is simple. Because they must. Because they are disconnected from their own source of power, from their own true self, from their own spiritual energy. They do not know how to create their own light, so they steal it from others. And the easiest way to do that, gain your trust, make you believe in them. Make you open yourself up so that they can take what they need and leave you empty. But now, let's go even deeper. Have you ever noticed that betrayals often come at key moments in your life? Just when you are about to level up, just when you are about to break through, just when you are about to step into your true power, that is when the betrayal happens. This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual warfare. Because the moment you start to rise, the moment you start to awaken, the moment you start to become something more, that is the moment when the forces that do not want you to wake up will send someone into your life to pull you back down. And if you are not aware of this, you will fall for it every time. But now you see it. Now you recognize it. Now you understand that betrayal is not just personal, it is spiritual. It is not just about people, it is about energy. And once you understand this, you gain a power that few people ever reach, the power of detachment. Because the moment you stop taking betrayal personally, the moment you stop seeing it as an attack and start seeing it as a pattern, you break the cycle. You stop reacting with pain, with anger, with confusion. Instead, you recognize it for what it is. You see it coming before it arrives. And most importantly, you stop giving your energy to those who do not deserve it. But here is where most people go wrong. They think that the solution to betrayal is closing themselves off completely. That they think that the answer is to trust no one, to build walls, to live in isolation. But this is just another trap, because isolation is not protection. That it is imprisonment. And the spiritual betrayers want you to close yourself off. They want you to become bitter, to become fearful, to become so wounded that you no longer shine the way you once did. Because when you shut yourself down, you stop radiating the energy that made you special in the first place. And that is how they truly win. So what is the real solution? How do you protect yourself without losing yourself? The answer is discernment, the ability to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be, the ability to recognize deception before it happens, the ability to trust wisely, not blindly. Because trust is not the problem, blind trust is. And once you develop discernment, once you learn how to read energy instead of words, you will never be betrayed again. Because here is the final truth: people may still try to betray you, but they will fail. They will fail because you will see it before it happens. You will feel the energy shift. You will recognize the signs. And instead of falling into the trap, you will simply step aside and let it pass. And when that happens, you will understand something profound: betrayal was never about them. It was always about you. It was always about your ability to see, to learn, to grow. And once you master that, betrayal loses all its power. But we are not done yet, because there is one more level to this, but one final truth that will change everything. You see, betrayal is not just something that happens to you. It is something that happens for you. And once you understand why, once you understand the hidden purpose behind every betrayal you have ever experienced, everything in your life will shift. Are you ready to go all the way? Because what comes next will reveal the ultimate secret behind spiritual betrayal. Now that we've uncovered the hidden patterns of betrayal, we have to address the final and most important truth. Every betrayal you have ever experienced was a lesson disguised as pain. It was never meant to destroy you. It was never meant to break you. It was meant to wake you up. But here's the shocking part: the betrayal was never about the other person. It was always about you, about your journey, about your evolution. And once you see this clearly, you will never fear betrayal again. Think about the moments in your life that shaped you the most. The moments that forced you to grow, to change, to become something greater. Were those moments easy? Were they comfortable? No, they were painful. They were filled with loss, confusion, and heartbreak. But they transformed you. And betrayal is one of the greatest catalysts for transformation that exists. Because betrayal forces you to see what you were blind to. It forces you to question what you once accepted without thought. It forces you to look deeper, to strengthen your intuition, to sharpen your discernment. Without it, you would remain asleep. Now let me ask you something that will shift your entire perspective. What if betrayal was not happening to you, but for you? What if every person who betrayed you was simply playing a role in your awakening? What if their deception, their manipulation, their lies were the very things that pushed you toward your highest self? Because here's the truth: if you never experienced betrayal, you would never learn who you truly are. Most people live in illusions. They trust blindly. They believe the surface level of people's words, their smiles, their promises. But betrayal forces you to see beyond words. It forces you to read energy. It forces you to develop a level of awareness that most people never reach. And that awareness, that is power. That is the power to walk through life unshaken, untouchable, immune to deception. That is the power to see things as they are, not as you wish they were. But here's where it gets even deeper. Have you ever noticed that after a betrayal, after the initial pain fades, you feel lighter? You feel clearer, as if something toxic has been removed from your life, even if at first you didn't want to let go. This is because betrayal is a form of spiritual cleansing. It removes people who were never truly meant to walk with you where you are going. It cuts away the energies that were holding you down. It forces you to release attachments that were built on illusion. And once those attachments are gone, you rise. But most people don't see it this way. They hold on to the pain. They replay the betrayal in their minds over and over, asking, why did they do this to me? Instead of asking, what did this reveal to me? And that is the difference between those who stay trapped in the cycle and those who transcend it. Because the ones who transcend it don't focus on the betrayer. They focus on the lesson. So let's break the cycle right now. Let's shift the way you see betrayal forever. From this moment forward, do not see betrayal as a curse, see it as a gift. A brutal gift, yes, a painful gift, but a gift nonetheless. Because every betrayal is a doorway to deeper wisdom, to greater strength, to ultimate clarity. And once you step through it with awareness, you will never be the same. And here's the most powerful part: once you reach this level, betrayal stops happening to you. Not because people stop trying to deceive you, but because you can see it before it happens. You feel the energy shift. You recognize the patterns. You sense the deception before it even begins. And instead of being caught off guard, instead of being hurt, you simply let go. You detach before the betrayal even has a chance to touch you. And that is when you become truly free. Because freedom is not about avoiding pain. It is about mastering it. It is about understanding that nothing can truly harm you unless you allow it to. And the moment you realize this, you step into a level of power that most people will never reach. A power where you trust wisely, love fully, but remain untouchable. A power where betrayal no longer wounds you, it strengthens you. A power where you no longer fear losing people, because you understand that those who are meant to stay will never betray you, and those who betray were never meant to stay. So here is the final truth. Betrayal is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your awakening. And if you embrace it, if you learn from it, if you let it refine you instead of destroy you, you will emerge from it as something greater than you have ever been. This is your initiation. This is your transformation. The choice is yours.